believe that education, it does bring out relevant skills in people because, when you're educated, when you're gaining an education, you're opening up doors to so many opportunities. So it's like you actually, find out what skills you have yourself.
That schools that bring out relevant skills in people. In some cases, yeah, but not all schools provide all skills that people would like to pursue. There are a lot of things that, for example, there isn't much sports that are pursued by girls, for example, as there's this standardized stuff to do. And yeah, so I think schools should try to concentrate on skills more than the curriculum itself, because by the end of the day, this is what a person would like to pursue in their whole life.
I think education does bring out relevant skills in people because it does enhance their abilities for their future career prospects.
So in my opinion, I think education is a very important thing in our lives, and it's extremely powerful. So sometimes education can bring out specific skills and abilities in people that some of them knew they didn't have inside of them, and then when they finally find it, it can truly benefit them for the future of their lives, and it can help improve it immensely, and it can make a change in this world.
I think that education has changed plenty of people's life because according to this country itself, United Arab Emirates, there are plenty of developments, and that couldn't be possible if without the process of education. So education is the most essential part of your life that can help you in developing your own skills and benefit the city or the country that you're living on.
Definitely, education brings relevant skills in people as they can develop the skills by doing different subjects. Also, they have the chance to select different subjects in order to increase the knowledge about the subject and also get a good reputation and also go for a job interview.
I believe that education develops skills in people and produces some very talented and skilled workers.
I have witnessed my grandma. My grandma's life changed through education. Before, when she wasn't educated, she used to know a little stuff, just the basic stuff. Not like now, education now helped her to cope up with this fast-paced world that we're living in. Now she can use the net, she knows how to take a photo using a camera, she knows how to use Skype, she knows how to surf YouTube, and view different videos that can help her in the future and help her with her daily routine.
I never look through people's opinions. I never go out in I never socialize with other people, so that makes me more self-centered. Okay.
I have a very personal experience with someone whose life has changed due to education. He was once a son of a farmer who walked to school every day for around 5 kilometers to get basic education. And now that person is one of the leading businessmen in Dubai. He owns over 10 companies in different nations, in different countries. And all of that was because he was dedicated towards getting education, and he was provided education from his teachers, his friends, his uncles, his family helped him. And that was my father. That's why.
In my personal opinion, I feel that the education system of today prepares us less for our future and prepares us more for exam. It's more about passing rather than what's relevant in our future. I don't think I'll be studying anything related to chemistry, but then I just have to do it for the grades and for admission in university. And in IT, I don't really care about how many types of printers there are, but then if I learn something better like programming, that could really help me in my future. And there's things like chemistry where I'm learning polymerization. There's no point. I'd rather do taxes.
I believe that our education system only aims to target students to kind of tailor-make students so that they will succeed in exams only. How have I witnessed that? For example, in chemistry, we have a topic called polymers. When I've researched on polymers at home, I've learned a lot of new things. But when I actually came to school to speak about my colleagues and my teachers about it, she chucked out 3/4 of what I've researched, saying that it's not in my curriculum. I understand that sometimes in each specific grade, you're supposed to learn what your standard and what your grade requires you to learn. However, I don't think education should be more about getting an A star or 100 out of 100 in your examinations. What happens in the afterlife? I mean, the life after school. What happens when you start meeting new people? What happens when you actually start working and dealing and actually preparing yourself to be an adult? What happens then? What are we learning in our textbooks that actually helps us when we're adults?
I think education in school in this generation helps us prepare for exams, because exams are the thing which help us go into college, which allows us to get a job.
Personally, I consider education very important because in today's world, we're going fast forward into 2017, and education plays a vital role in everyday life. Without knowing what to do and where to begin, how will you know where will you land up? So in my opinion, it is very important and vital for us to all get proper education.
I do think education is a necessity in this time because it's basically the education that helps a person to become independent and make him a global citizen. It helps in promoting peace, and I do firmly believe that most of the problems of this modern world, it could be eradicated through education.
I believe that education is important if you want to get a job or have a future career, but I still think that having skills is much better than having qualifications.
I feel like with an education, people's lives can change. Like if you're living in poverty right now, with an education, you can aim for higher goals, you can get better employment, and education is something that will never leave you. Even if you lose a limb, for example, at least you still have that brain and power that can help a community or something like that.
I think education is a necessity in this day and age because education doesn't only give you a degree, it also teaches you certain skills like problem solving and critical thinking and ways of life that cannot be achieved without education.
Education at our age is very important, especially for those who are going through the teenage life. Why? Because it builds up a personality and helps them in the future.
Okay, unemployment is a more pressing issue because uneducated people can also get employed. They can do farming, or there are various jobs available for illiterate people. So without employment, there will be no income, and without income, people will starve. Therefore, their further generation, the kids, they won't be able to get proper education because no money. So unemployment is a more pressing issue.
I think that illiteracy is worse than unemployment because if you don't teach children or adults for that matter how to read or write, they won't be able to understand anything, and then therefore that actually causes unemployment because they won't be able to find jobs. So yeah, that's worse.
Times are changing, the world is evolving, but still not everyone gets education. Now, as a modern society, still we have a lot of majority of people who are uneducated without any jobs. Now, if you're educated, getting a job is not impossible. However, if you are not educated, if you're illiterate, you can't speak, you can't write, you can't read, getting a job is going to be very hard. Now, that is what I consider is a more pestering issue. Being illiterate is something that should be considered weird. It should not happen. It should be changeable. We should aim to have 100% education throughout. Education does not only promote peace and unity with everyone, but it also increases the cultural capital of everyone. Am I right?
9.
Thank you.
Being illiterate
Stop.
is a much
2, 1. Start.
Being illiterate is a much bigger problem than not being employed, because if you are literate, you'll be easily able to get a job, earn for your family, be a breadwinner, and of course be able to get your own children into education also. Being illiterate and having a job on top of that would earn you a low level job, and you won't be able to earn enough for your
In my opinion, the education system in the UAE it's average, to be honest. I've seen better. Back when I was in the UK, I felt that it was better, and I would actually give it a 4-star out of 5 compared to the UK's 5-star.
The education system in UAE has improved a lot since the last 30 years as the country has developed as well. So education has played a key role in the development of the
I feel that the education in UAE is an average level because that some people are lacking in they tend to not focus in class, so they discourage other people in studying, so that is lacking. The students are provided tuition. I feel that tuition should not be provided, so that other people can so that everyone is equal and everyone will focus in class, because that is the only resource for studying.
I personally think that we shouldn't have standardized curriculum across the world, because everyone does have different abilities and everyone has their own unique individuality.
I would recommend a standardized curriculum worldwide because it's a good initiative and the students will be treated as equals, not one inferior than the other.
I don't think so. Education for all gives peace throughout the world, because where there's education, there's success, and where there's success, there's competition, and competition is dissimilar to peace. This applies everywhere, in school, offices, boardrooms, and in governments.
I strongly believe that education can promote peace throughout the world, because I feel that education is one tool that can make people aware of things around them, and also just get rid of ignorance, which is the root cause of all evil in this world. Education is not just being a part of being successful or rich in this world. It is not a matter of having power or authority. It is just getting the awareness which they should know about the world. It's not just their own country or place, but all around the world. And that will make them just get the knowledge about whatever they should know and about other countries and how to have tolerance. And that is the key to tolerance, which is the most important part of having world peace.
Will education promote peace throughout the world? I would say yes and no. Yes, because education raises awareness, and yes, when people are aware, they know better. And yes, so peace will be promoted. But on the other hand, I think it is education that has, raised the competitiveness in people. Like, you want success if you're educated, and success is the competition, obviously. And when there's competition, I don't think it actually agrees with the peace concept.
Because most of them are money-minded, so if they don't get anything in return, they're not going to do it. So our generation would be able to achieve education for all because we're a lot cooler.
And the question arises, if education for all is an achievable target, I think the answer depends on the definition of education. For example, if you think education is just a degree or diploma, then yes, it's definitely possible. And it is an achievable target in the next 5 years or so. But when you talk about education, like the definition for me, it's a lot more than that. It means the right mindset and wisdom rather than intelligence. So I don't think that is an achievable target, because it depends on the person, and not because you can't teach everything. Life teaches you that.
Can education for all be achieved? I believe no, because there's too much politics in the world that it's just unfair for everybody to get equal opportunities, and it's impossible for education to be achieved.